Massive flames erupt over the Maple Avenue Bridge in Glenville. This comes after a tanker truck reportedly carrying propane crashed into a bridge. The Glenville town supervisor telling us the road will likely stay closed the rest of the night as cleanup is underway. We will bring you team coverage as we tell you what we know about the driver and the crash as crews continue to battle this scene. Live at 9 starts right now. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I am Rachel Teedy. A very active night tonight. Let's get right out to Taniqua Penix, who's at the scene of the crash and this fire. Tia, tell us exactly where you are and what you can tell us about what you're seeing.
Well, good evening, Rachel. I'm here in the Woodhaven neighborhood. A couple was kind enough to let us be in their backyard. This is where you can kind of see all of the action going on. On one of the tree barks, there's still some flames coming. That's been going on for about an hour. I got here at 8 o'clock, and that flame has still been constant on that tree bark right there. But you see fire crews spraying water on the whole area. Now, we heard from the town supervisor. He tells us that this crash happened around 6:30, so they've been here all night trying to get things under control. Now, we just spoke to the family that lives here, and they actually told us when they saw the flames, they said they were really high. The person who owns the home back here says some of the fire was actually on his property. They did have to evacuate for a short amount of time, but they're back home now. Power was out. Looks like power on the street is back. We have the Christmas lights going on. But again, this is a very active scene, and we expect them to be here for a really long night. So we'll be here to continue to give you updates. For now, reporting live in Glenville, Taniqua Penix, News Channel 13 with coverage you can trust. Rachel?
Tia, thank you so much. Let's take a look at where this happened. The bridge is on Maple Avenue. That's in the town of Glenville in Schenectady County. There's an infamous bridge on Glen Ridge Road, but that is not the bridge that was hit tonight. The town supervisor, Chris Ketzley, telling us a tanker truck carrying propane crashed into the bridge and exploded. He said the crash happened, like Tia said, right around 6:30 tonight. Ketzley also telling us the driver was not killed. He said the male driver was taken to Westchester Med with third-degree burns. He said there were no other homes damaged and no one else was injured, but the flames were 200 feet high as this happened, and the flames sustained 50 to 60 feet. At the scene, we also spoke to a police officer who said this fire was especially difficult to fight. He said the explosion shook the entire neighborhood and they're dealing with power outages right now. He spoke to the difficulties that fighting this type of fire comes with.
It's it's a different type of investigation when you come upon an accident like this with a truck that's full of potential flammable gas. We didn't know and still don't know whether or not there's still tanks that are on the truck or on the trailer that are still full. So they got to make sure they get the fire out to lower the temperature so that no other explosions occur, which I think they've done a great job doing.
We have video that shows the moments after the explosion. This was taken by viewer Stephen Lounsbury. He also mentioned to me there was a train going over the bridge at the time of this fire, a very active scene. Let's talk about how the weather could play a part. Let's take a look at graphics here right now. Satellite and radar, not a big issue as we head into tonight right now, mostly clear skies. But as we zoom on into where this is, that kind of orange line, I'm going to walk over to the weather wall here. So folks in the back, just a heads up, that's where I'm headed here. But you can see on the wall here, there's kind of that green line where there's Alplas Avenue. This is Maple Avenue right now. This is Glen Ridge Road. This is the roundabout. So Glen Ridge Road is where the infamous bridge is, the Rust, as people have been calling it. This is Maple Avenue. So no issues when it comes to rain or snow here tonight, but it is on the colder side. Lots of blue across the map here tonight. And as we zoom out, this is what we are seeing when it comes to the wind direction. 19 degrees is what it feels like in Albany, 23 in Glens Falls. And these are the temperatures as we head into tomorrow and the direction that the wind is coming from. The gusts for right now, again, not too bad, which is good. The two things you don't want when you're battling fire, wind gusts and heat. Both of those things, bad news. So as we take a look at the gusts here right now, not a lot. Amsterdam, probably your closest location to Glenville here, 7 miles per hour. That's not too breezy. Albany is more of a breezy situation. Catskill, more breezy. Obviously, the yellow color showing that more likely. It will stay in the single digits as we head into the overnight hours and stay low. So as these crews continue to battle these flames or the remnants of it, we're not going to be seeing a lot of the smell of the propane or the smoke from the fire drift very far. So the surrounding communities not necessarily going to be feeling the impacts of this. The wind does start to pick up as we head into Friday night around 11 o'clock. You can see it off to our west here. But by then, a lot of this should be taken care of. Current temperatures right now sitting in the 20s across the area, 21 degrees at the Albany International Airport, 22 in Kinderhook, 19 in Bennington, 21 in North Adams, 21 in Schuylerville as well, 18 in Glens Falls, 15 in Chestertown, 19 in Whitehall, 19 in Ballston Spa, 18 in Johnstown, 15 in Duanesburg. Something that's interesting, though, is these are your straight temperatures. So when the wind chill is going to be added in, it's going to feel colder than that. So I would like to ask the fire crews what that means is they're spraying the water on this scene. If it's freezing over, that's an issue for them. So I'm gonna text Tia right now and see if she can find an answer for us on that. But we also have been keeping track of power outages in the area. Let's take a look at National Grid. This is a live look at the map right now. There are about 434 customers without power. That was about 8 o'clock or so. Around 7:30, that number was much higher, closer to 1,200. So it is going down. A live look at the scene right now, and here's what we know. A tractor trailer hit the Maple Avenue Bridge in Glenville, happened around 6:30 or so. The town supervisor says flames reached as high as 200 feet in the air. 50 to 60 feet is what was sustained. The truck was carrying some type of compressed natural gas, propane, or compressed air. Taniko Penix on the scene during one of our breaking news cut-ins earlier tonight said she could smell the propane in the air. The town supervisor said the driver had third-degree burns, was taken to Westchester Med Center, and police say the driver was conscious and walked himself to the ambulance. That's big news. The town supervisor also said the driver was headed to Pennsylvania and said no damage to the surrounding area, but people living close by did feel that shockwave and obviously saw the explosion. Maple Avenue is closed, and the town supervisor said he expects it to be closed for a while, at least through tonight. The bridge will have to be inspected as well. Again, this is the Maple Avenue Bridge. We've also reached out to CSX, which owns that rail bridge. We'll let you know when we hear from them. Coming up after the break, though, we will hear again from Taniko Penix, more live looks from the scene. And let's take a live look outside right now from your CDPHP First Warning camera. We're going to have your full forecast when we come back after the break.
Coverage you can trust with anchor and meteorologist Rachel Teedy and Roger Ryland on sports. This is News Channel 13, live at 9.
They say specifically that she was airlifted to a hospital. Do you remember he said specifically if he was airlifted or if he was just to the driver. Really? Yeah. Well, they said something about airlift. That I do remember. I just don't remember if he was airlifted directly or if they said that first they were going to take him. There was an airlift out. Did you guys hear the chopper? There was a chopper when we first showed up that was up in the air, but I don't know like if that was related or not because they went around the area a couple times and that was the end of that. Okay,
that's a good visual though. That's probably the worst. It took a
We continue to follow the breaking news out of Glenville. A truck crashed into a railroad bridge on Maple Avenue. The road is still closed, and the town supervisor expects it to be closed all night. The bridge will have to be inspected, which the town supervisor said that he expects to happen tomorrow. A massive fire was underway after the truck hit this bridge, reportedly carrying propane or some sort of fuel. Taniqua Penix is live there now. She joins us with the latest conditions on the scene. And Tia, you said earlier you could smell the propane in the air.
Yes, earlier we could smell it. That smell has died down, but I'm still a little lightheaded from earlier. But you mentioned the roads being blocked, and we drove around trying to find the best place where we could see what's happening. And a family in this Woodhaven neighborhood was kind enough to let us kind of station in their backyard. And you see the crews spraying fire. Now, earlier there was a tree where you could see just a small flame that just kept flickering. It looks like it's died down, but we know how these things work. It can be tricky. So I'm sure they're going to keep the water there. And we spoke to the homeowner here, and he described what he saw when he first saw the explosion. He said the flames were really high, and he was concerned that it might even get to his house. But take a listen and hear from him.
I mean, of course, my first worry was whether the flames were going to get to my house. We watched for a few minutes, and then the fire department knocked on the door and told us we had to get out.
So you had to evacuate.
We had to evacuate. So I took my daughters down the street to a friend's house and then sat down here on the street watching until the flames were out. And then when the power came back on, we came back in.
And he mentioned the power being back on. I could see from the street lights here and the Christmas lights that most of the people in this neighborhood do have the power. The family is also inside in their home right now. And again, this is an active scene. It'll be going on probably for a couple more hours, but we'll be here all night to give you the latest and most up-to-date details. For now, reporting live in Glenville, Taniqua Penix, News Channel 13 with coverage you can trust. Rachel.
All right, Tia, thank you so much. We continue to receive photos of the scene. This photo sent to us by a viewer named Bridget Stapleton. You can see the smoke, you can see the flames, and if you look closely, you can see there is a train on the tracks on the bridge as that fire continues to rage. Again, we've reached out to the railroad about this. We have not yet heard back, but let's take another live look at the scene here. This is different from where Taniqua is standing. This is where our photojournalist Lindsay Shumway is set up. And here's what we know so far. That tractor trailer hit the Maple Avenue Bridge in Glenville. That's different than the notorious one that we always talk about, the quote unquote, the rust. Happened around 6:30. The town supervisor said the flames reached as high as 200 feet in the air. 50 to 60 feet high flames is what was sustained. You could see that in that photo. The truck was carrying some type of compressed natural gas or propane or compressed air is what the town supervisor said, but Tia said that she could smell the propane. The driver of the truck has third-degree burns, taken to Westchester Medical Center. The driver was conscious and walked himself to the ambulance. The town supervisor said the driver was headed to Pennsylvania. No damage to the surrounding area. Maple Avenue is closed. You can see the many trucks there still on the scene. So they're asking people to please avoid the area for right now. The bridge will have to be inspected to make sure that it is still safe for cars to drive under and trains to drive over.
Now, your first warning forecast with meteorologist Rachel TD.
A little bit ago, we were talking about how the winds and the lack of heat are going to be beneficial to the firefighters in this firefight as they continue to battle this scene. A live look from Schenectady right now. We tried to find the flames on this camera and the Amsterdam camera. We weren't able to see them. So a nice, pleasant look, flameless from Schenectady right now. CDPHB first warning camera, 21 degrees, 17 when you add in the wind chill. It is chilly out there tonight, and it will continue to stay chilly. So with the firefighters continuing to stay out there, it's going to be a very brisk night. No heat that you have to worry about with flames. You don't want to have to battle heat in addition to the flames, but it is cold. As we get up to the lunchtime hour, it does get back up into the 20s. From my experience of covering fires out in my previous markets and here as well, when you get fires that are happening in conditions that are this cold, the water that is sprayed from the hose or leaking from the fire truck does tend to freeze, which can cause some slippery conditions. So I've texted both of our photojournalists, Lindsay Shumway and Taniko Penix. If they get an opportunity to ask about how they mitigate that risk, they're going to let us know. But it is a factor that you need to think about as you head into tonight. As we head into tomorrow, it's going to feel like single digits. So if you're heading out early, I would grab the heavy jacket. Don't forget the hats, the mittens. Maybe keep them in your car just in case you break down. You never want to be without that. As we get up into peak heating of the day, 31 degrees, 3 o'clock, so not super warm, coming back down to the lower 20s by the time we get to dinner time tomorrow. A clean look at our satellite and radar image here across the area. No major issues, no snow to worry about, no rain to worry about. Wind gusts are going to stay not too bad, a little bit on the breezier side, less so where the firefight is happening, more so in the Albany area and the Catskill area. Seeing more of those wind gusts getting down to the single digits by the time we get to 3 a.m. Your hour-by-hour forecast staying clean across the area right now. No worries as we head into Friday. A little bit of cloud cover, but no rain or snow to worry about. Cleans out by lunchtime, and it stays clean heading into the nighttime hours of Friday. Saturday, weekend looks great. Clouds do start to move in here, though. 9 a.m. And then we get the chance for a quick snow shower or rain shower. We're not expecting any major accumulation with this, but it is something that could impact your plans. So just as a heads up, this is 1:15 a.m. on Sunday. So it's the nighttime hours on Saturday. Don't cancel any plans for Saturday. And as we head into Sunday, just a scattered chance for Sunday morning. Christmas Day in Albany looking really nice here. For Santa, don't forget the cookies. Temperatures are going to be chilly, of course. Today is the first day of winter. It feels like it. 45 degrees is your high temperature for Christmas, mostly sunny and pleasant conditions. So warms up just a little bit for Christmas. For tonight, 14, mostly clear and cold. For tomorrow, 32 degrees, sunny but chilly. Wind will die down. 70 forecast looks like this. 20% chance of those scattered showers on Saturday, but I would not cancel any plans. Sunday, Christmas Eve, looking clear, 41 degrees. Christmas itself, 45. Tuesday looks nice at 46. Then Wednesday and Thursday is the next chance of precipitation right now. Keeping an eye on that one as we move forward. Coming up, our team coverage continues at the scene of the fire in Glenville.
You don't have a right? Yeah. I'm just wondering if you had time for the live hits. My phone is dead, so they've been taking us live uncomfortably, but I don't know when. London 9, yeah, Rachel said heads up, taking you guys, and I do let me impact here every block. So but I would move the camera if I had an idea of like when the shot was. You want me to say that after saying he's airlifted out? Okay, perfect. And then is that the last one? Okay. I'll confirm after, but I'll get ready. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Perfect. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Tonight, News Channel 13 salutes Private First Class Zane Holland from Mayfield. Zane serves in the Army overseas. We salute him and thank him for his service. Let's get a last check from Taniqua Penix live at the scene in Glenville. But as a reminder, this is the location of where the tanker truck carrying the propane hit a bridge, caused a massive explosion. I believe we have a map of that. Happened at 6:30, but cleanup still underway tonight, right there, the Maple Avenue Bridge. Tia has been on the scene for a couple hours now. Tia, what can you hear, see, smell? Describe the scene for us.
Right, Rachel. Well, I was wrong earlier. They were spraying water. I thought they would be spraying a little bit longer, but they just turned off the water hose. There was this pesky little flame on one of the trees here, and it seems they were able to put it out. And I know you were asking about them worrying about their water freezing over. We're not sure how far we can go, so we're staying back here, but there were some of the men, they got as close to us, so I'm waiting on the opportunity. Maybe I'll be able to talk to someone. But again, we're in a Woodhaven neighborhood where the homeowner tells us he witnessed the flames really high, and he was concerned that they may get on his property and burn his home. Thankfully, that did not happen. They had to evacuate. The power was out. The power is back on now, and they're back inside. The family has been so generous, even coming out to offer us some hot chocolate, but still an active scene with the crews. But again, they stopped spraying that water. So we'll be here all throughout the night to see what happens next. For now, reporting live in Glenville, Taniqua Penix, News Channel 13 with coverage you can trust. Rachel.
All right, Taniqua, good work out there. Thank you so much. A last look at the scene here. Here's what we know if you're just joining us. A tractor trailer hit the Maple Avenue Bridge in Glenville. Happened around 6:30. The town supervisor says flames reached as high as 200 feet in the air, carrying a type of compressed natural gas, propane, or compressed air. This is a live look at the scene right now. The town supervisor said the driver of the truck had third-degree burns and was taken to Westchester Med Center, but the driver was conscious and walked himself to the ambulance. The town supervisor said the driver was headed to Pennsylvania, and we got word from viewers as well as the supervisor himself saying that the shockwave that went through the surrounding area when this fireball went up was palpable. You could feel it, but no damage to the surrounding area has been reported so far. Maple Avenue is closed. People should avoid the area for the time being. Let the crew do their work. But the supervisor also saying the bridge will have to be inspected. There was a train that was going over the bridge at the time of the explosion. We've reached out to the railroad to see if there was damage done to the train. Of course, we'll let you know if we hear damage was done to the bridge itself. Let's take a last look at power outages here as well as we take a live look at the National Grid website. A little bit earlier today, there was about 433 outages. Right now, 81 total customers affected. So that has gone down considerably over the last couple of hours. Good news for people living in that area. While responding to the scene of the crash, the town supervisor told us the Schenectady fire chief crashed, and not a Schenectady fire chief, that is an error. It was the Thomas Corners fire chief that crashed and hit a vehicle. We're still working to learn more about this, but one of our photojournalists said as she was heading to the scene, she was stopped by police responding to a crash. Again, the Thomas Corners chief reportedly hit another vehicle, and this is what the town supervisor said about that. All right, I guess we don't have his soundbite here, but he said to us earlier he does not know the status of those parties and either of those parties involved in those vehicles. So just another element of this story that will continue to bring you updates as we get them. A last look at your forecast here. We talked about the winds, we talked about the heat and how this is bad. That's going to be bad news if they're fighting the flames. The good news here tonight, the winds are calm and it's cold outside. 14 degrees is your low temperature, mostly clear and cold conditions. For tomorrow, a lot of clear skies, 32 degrees, sunny but cold, and less wind, which is great news for the firefighters out there tomorrow or anybody who has afternoon plans. Your 7-day planner looks like this. There's a small chance for some rain, a small chance for a flurry on Saturday. I would not change any plans that you have. It's going to be in the evening hours primarily. Christmas Eve looks dry, 41 degrees right now. Monday, 45 degrees. So Christmas looking excellent. 46 degrees. Notice that small warm up here as we head day after day after day after day. 46 degrees for Tuesday, a mixture of sun and clouds. On Wednesday, we do have that next chance for some rain moving through right now. 48 degrees. That is the warm spot of the week right now. As we get to Thursday, 42 degrees, another small chance for some flurries, but we're keeping an eye on that as well. Let's take a last look at that scene here one last time. Again, this is Maple Avenue, and it's the bridge there, not the notorious rust that we're all used to hearing about getting crashed into by trucks, right? This is the Maple Avenue one, which is not far from the Glen Ridge Road one as well. But this road is going to be closed for a while. Taniqua Penix is on scene. We have photojournalist Lindsay Shumway, who's there as well, who's giving us this live shot right now. No injuries reported except for the driver of the truck, who has third-degree burns tonight, but is alive and walked himself to the ambulance after all of this happened. We're going to continue to make calls. We're going to continue to update on air and online with any breaking developments, but we are back in 90 minutes on Channel 13 for News Channel 13, live at 11. We'll see you there.